Hey, Joe Mastriano, CPA, over 40 years and thousands of successful tax cases. And boy, I know the IRS business like the back of my hand. In this tax season, I want you to play it smart, okay? Every year, people fall into these traps. So let's go over them. Forget what the IRS and the media tells you about filing early and filing by e-filing. First of all, if you're going to file returns for people as a practitioner and you file more than 10 returns, it might be up to 15 now. I don't know. I don't care because we do paper returns. They force you to e-file. My way around that is we don't file returns for taxpayers. Plain and simple. There's no reason to. We give the returns to our clients and they file it. You want to be the filer. Now, why do you want a paper return? Because that's how you explain items on your return, especially if you're self employed. You can't attach statements when you e file. When they change the law, somebody needs to tell me, and then I'll favor e filing again. But in the meantime, I have a 4-part checklist that to this day, I don't know one person that's ever been audited when we used it. And one of those 4 items is to explain in detail. You use your vehicle. You want to say taxpayer understands the code and the regs. Taxpayer has a mileage log. You want to explain on that return that you know the rules, you have the documentation that's required, and therefore leave you alone and go audit someone that hires these young people who are just starting out and they use a tax program and you give them your W-2s and 1099s or whatever and they key it in and take about a half hour and charge you a few $100. And then you wind up coming to me when you get audited or going to some attorney because you get scared who uses scare tactics. It says, no, you have to have an attorney, but you don't. So you don't want to file early either. And I always say respect your tax return. Um, there's a wage and income statement. Okay. I did another video which said you need to get it. Even if you don't use us to file your return, you need to contact the IRS and get your wage and income transcript, which is a list of all third party pay items, W-2s, 1099s, K-1s, whatever they have. And that preparer needs to use that because if you can't match up item by item what they have, and that goes for you self employed people who have these tax preparers that add up all your 1099s and put it together, and then the IRS doesn't know if you reported all your income or not. And boy, if you get selected for a preliminary audit and they check your bank account and they see you got deposits on you that's more than what's on the return, you're going to get audited. I've done this, geez, I've done taxes since 1975 when I was 19. When I was 25, I started my CPA firm. I quit counting after a few thousand cases. I'm telling you, I deal with these people daily, collections, appeals, audit, various divisions. I've got even taken people out of the criminal investigation division, helping them to understand that my client was not really a criminal. He just did dumb things and trusted these tax preparers that didn't know what they were doing. It's funny, year after year, and we're not even expensive, but people will try to save a couple of $100 or they don't even give it their returns a second thought. They'll go to some national tax company or some multi-service company, and the very nice, sweet person will tell them, oh, don't worry about your taxes, just save your receipts. And you send your return in. And then when you get audited, and me or someone else who's going to represent you asks you about the items on the return, you have no idea. Why is contributions 25,000 when you only gave them $15,000 worth of receipts? Or why are they taking an office and home and taking 50% of the house or apartment as a deduction? You can't defer logical judgment to a tax preparer. What you have to do is understand. Robin here does returns. She's done it for decades. She worked for CPA firms before she started working for me about 7 years ago. All her clients come back to her the following year. Um, and the reason is we audit proof returns, but she knows what she's doing. So when you have your tax return done, if you don't understand what's required for evidence for each of those items, it's not, hint, your canceled checks or credit cards and invoices. There's business purpose reasons. There's other reasons that are particular to items. I tell people just get J.K. Lass's income tax or some other, but that's a really good tax guide that'll tell you, or just research online. What evidence do I need to defend this particular item on the tax return? And start reading, and you'll see that the requirements of IRS auditors are different depending on which item it is on your tax return. So if you can't pull the IRS's wage and income transcript to see what they have on you so you don't fail the matching program and get audited, and you don't have enough understanding of what they accept as evidence to prove the items on your return, then what the heck are you doing? You're trying to save $200, but you're going to spend thousands of dollars in an audit, or you're going to lay down. I've watched for years people lay down. They get an IRS bill for $750 or $1,200, and they go, well, it's going to cost me more to hire someone to represent me. I'll just write a check and pay them. And where is your money going? Oh, did someone in the background say to Ukraine? I don't know. I don't care. All I know is I don't get audited. My clients don't get audited when we use the 4-part checklist by matching things up. We don't file by April 15th because the wage and income transcript of what's reported on you isn't settled. The people make changes, and then you get letters from the IRS. You can avoid all this stuff very simply by making sure you pay your taxes timely. January 15th just passed. That was when the fourth quarter's estimate is due. So if you owe taxes for 2022, you are late and you need to pay it right away. But your tax return is not due. You file an extension, you file it right before October 15th, right before the end of the extension. Most returns are selected for audit. I mean, I can go on, and I just have to laugh at people, doctors, lawyers, accountants, internet coders, anybody out there. It doesn't matter. Today a lot of people have more things to do than there's time in the day, and they don't manage things properly. I actually, on joemastriano.com, one of my websites, offer McOil, Manage Control of Your Life, a course that I designed, helping people to manage what controls them. That's the subject for another video, or on my website, subscribe and go to the playlist that has McOil, and you'll see my videos on that as well. But this is the year. Don't mess things up. This is the year that finally you're going to spend a little bit more time understanding what's on your tax return, what the IRS does with it, when your taxes need to be paid. I do consultations. You can call Stephanie 713-774-4467. And in an hour, I can explain all of this in detail. You'll walk away an expert. You won't be afraid of the IRS anymore. And then do what you need to do. I have some clients, they do their own returns. I have clients that say, thank you, Joe. You're my specialist. I'll stay out of trouble. I'm going to use my cousin who's been doing my tax return for the last 10 years. But if I get in trouble, I will call you. I've had people do that. I'm in my mid 60s now, and I don't there's not extra money I need to gouge anybody. I don't have anyone to impress with a fancy car. I don't take big fancy trips. I'm in excellent health. I've kept my rates the same for decades. I think people are fools to not go to a licensed professional who a licensed professional firm like a CPA firm or a law firm or even an enrolled agent who has their own firm that does their own tax work, because the firm has to be responsible. But all these other tax prep companies, they're not licensed professional companies. They have no responsibility to you. They get away with all kinds of crazy things. I wind up getting calls and emails from them. The ones who do have some money for professional help wind up hiring us. The other ones that, some people you can't change. They just keep looking for those angles. They find someone that says, oh, taxes are not legal and you don't have to pay. It's not in the law. Joe, show me the law that says I have to pay taxes. Well, when the IRS and their law enforcement people grab you and cart you off to jail, you could say, show me the law all you want. All I know is for years and years, I've dealt with the Criminal Investigation Division, the Department of Justice that's put people in jail. And you can go on the IRS's website. You can read about all the people that they prosecuted. Stay away from companies. I've got to do a video on that. There's people on LinkedIn that say, give me a few $1,000s and I'll go through my laundry list of all these deductions and I can get you back all this money. Well, heck, I can do that too. If you want me to teach you how to do your own return, I can review that return for you. And I don't have to sign it if I don't talk about numbers and tell you what to do. But any mistakes you have on your return, I could point you to the sections of knowledge that you need to know, and then you can read it and fix it up, and you'd have a perfect return, and you don't got to rely on these people that just stick numbers in there. I'm here to help. Thank you.